Welcome into OutKick the show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis. I hope all of you are having a fantastic Thursday, wherever you may be across the country or around the world. It is OutKick the show time. Last show here on OutKick the show for a little bit. I am headed down to the beach on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for my youngest son's fall break. And I will be back here on Thursday with OutKick shows. But until then, I will be out. I'm going to be at the Miami-Florida State game, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Looking forward to seeing that game. It'll be my second trip to Tallahassee for games. Went there for the opening week against Alabama. Now headed back for the game between FSU and Miami. Should be fun. And I'll be watching a lot of college football and NFL like all of you, starting with Thursday night. But I want to start right off the top here with what I think are the two biggest games going on in college football. I'll tell you what I expect to see. I just mentioned that Miami-Florida State game. There is the expectation, I think, right now that Miami and Florida State are the two best teams in the ACC. I think that is fair. Now, it also is fair to say Louisville's still undefeated, that Georgia Tech's still undefeated in the ACC. There's a lot of different directions the ACC could go. Last year, I don't think very many people expected SMU to be in the ACC championship game in their inaugural year, going up necessarily even against Clemson, if we had been talking about this, the matchup in the early days of October. Having said that, I really like Florida State's chances to beat Miami outright in this game. And here's the reason why. I think Doak Campbell is going to be electric like it was for the opening game against Alabama. Miami has won, but we really have not seen Carson Beck rattled yet. And Miami has basically been in very comfortable environs down in Coral Gables, down in South Florida in the Hard Rock Stadium there. This is going to be a different environment. This is going to be a different atmosphere. Last year, with Cam Ward, Miami started off white hot, and then the defense caught up to them. I don't know that it's going to be defensive side of the ball issues for Miami in this one, which, again, I think Florida State is going to win. And I think we're going to see a rematch of Miami and Florida State in the ACC championship game. The reason why I like Florida State is I think they're going to get us a game of bad Carson Beck. So far, we have seen good Carson Beck. He's a very talented quarterback. On the road, pressure raining down on him. Remember, last year, bad Carson Beck showed up quite a lot, including the worst game that Georgia played last year when Ole Miss just took Georgia to the woodshed in Oxford. Coming off of the loss, I think Florida State was looking ahead. Sometimes you get upset and you practice better and you pay attention better. I think that Florida State is undervalued, and I believe they will knock Miami from the ranks of the unbeaten on Saturday night in Tallahassee. Could I be wrong? But of course. And I've got Miami ranked number 1 overall in my OutKick top 10 right now, so I don't know that anybody has been fairer or more favorably disposed to Miami so far. But you go back. It was a close win against Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's a very good team. Into the mid-part of the fourth quarter against Florida. Games down at home so far. Going on the road is different. There's no such thing as a bad road win. Ask Florida State, who just lost on Friday at Virginia. I think Florida State bounces back, gets the win outright over Miami. The other big game, Vanderbilt, Alabama. Vanderbilt's 5-0, and it is not a smoke and mirrors 5-0. I tell you, Vegas believes in Vanderbilt. Vandy's only a 10.5-point underdog on the road in this game. If I had told you a few years ago that there was a situation where Alabama would be hosting a home game against Vanderbilt a year after they lost a game against Vanderbilt on the road, and Vegas only had Alabama as around a 10-point favorite at home, a lot of you would say, what in the world are you talking about, Clay? This is crazy talk. No, I just think it's hyper-rational, reasonable, realistic. Vanderbilt's really good. and they are going to score points against Alabama, which is why I like the over in this game quite a lot. I also think Alabama's elite at receiver. Ty Simpson is playing well. The story to me of the Georgia-Alabama game that I watched in person last week in Athens was there was not a lot of pressure on Ty Simpson. The Alabama offensive line protected him very well. Very rarely was there ever, and Ty Simpson is a mobile quarterback with good escapability, but very rarely was there a necessity of him using those skills. And so what I expect to see happen in this game is I expect for us to see Vanderbilt over 24. I think that Alabama will score 28 or more. The over will cash, and I expect this game to be close in the fourth quarter. And people could say, well, Vanderbilt hasn't really beaten anybody. Sometimes people say that. And my response is, on the road against Virginia Tech is a really good win the way they won. On the road against South Carolina is a really good win the way they won. Dominant in both fashions. I don't think they're going to be intimidated by the crowd in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Vanderbilt's going to keep this game close. So that's my prediction. I think Alabama will win, but I think it's by a touchdown or less. I think Vanderbilt covers. I love the over, and I also think Miami and the under is the play in what I expect to be a defensive struggle on the road in Tallahassee. Looking forward to seeing that game in person. Earlier, Trey Wallace had a story up about the challenge that is out there for Kentucky. We can pull this graphic up. I believe it is a tens of millions of dollars in buyout that Kentucky would owe Mark Stoops if they were to fire him. I think Kentucky is the worst job in the SEC. Lexington is a phenomenal place. The University of Kentucky is a good spot. I'm not attacking the state of Kentucky here. The reason why I think it's fallen to the 16th best job in football is simply this. In NIL, Kentucky basketball is going to take a way higher percentage of the overall dollars for Kentucky than they are at any other SEC school. And you already have the difficulty of recruiting at Kentucky. Louisville's undefeated right now. Typically, Kentucky and Louisville are both not good at the same time. That's just the historic likelihood and regularity on football. It's a state that does not produce a ton of elite talent, that is surrounded by far better football programs, whether you go north and it's Ohio State, whether you go south and it's Tennessee. If you are a super talented Kentucky football player, there are people pulling you to the north in the Big Ten, and there are people pulling you to the south in the SEC. It's hard to put forward consistent good teams. I give credit to Mark Stoops because he's been capable of winning 10 games. But what's the pathway typically been? It has been schedule 4 games, 3 games that you can't lose, and then Louisville as the rival. So 3 wins, and then hope to get past Louisville, and then hope you can get to 2-6 or 3-5 in the SEC, which gets you to a bowl game. And if you get a good draw, maybe be able to get even to 9 wins, 8 wins, 10 wins if you count the bowl game, and be able to advance that way. I just think that opportunity is drying up. And I think Kentucky is now the worst job in the SEC because they don't have the financial resources to compete at an incredibly high level. Of all the states in the SEC, the state of Kentucky produces the fewest high-level football recruits. I don't know how many people talk about this, but think about that. Every other state, I mean, it's not even an argument with Texas, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas even, probably is the best argument, but Arkansas produces more good college football players than Kentucky does. South Carolina certainly does. So you look at every SEC state, you produce the fewest players, you have the worst resources for football. It's the worst job. Worse than Vanderbilt, worse than Mississippi State, worse than Arkansas. It is the worst job, I believe, in the SEC. And I don't know how much better they can do than Mark Stoops. I think Mark Stoops saw it. It's why he was trying to jump and go take that Texas A&M job, because he could see the writing on the wall. If you are successful at Kentucky, somebody else will come get your best players. And you're not going to be able to recruit the top young players and develop them into elite talent. So I think Kentucky's in a really tough spot. Football, basketball, the challenge they have is a lot of other SEC schools now care about basketball. It used to be Kentucky cared way more about basketball than everybody else, and so they had a competitive advantage. Now everybody cares about basketball. I do think Kentucky should have an advantage because they're spending more, but Kentucky's been spending more on basketball for a very long time than everybody else in the SEC. I think the challenge they've got is everybody else has kind of woken up, and the resources of Kentucky are not substantial enough that they can just take advantage of the history and pedigree of their program. There are a lot of challenges, I think, out there for the Kentucky program. I'm not even sure they can afford to fire Mark Stoops, but even if they did, I'm not sure they can find anyone that could replace him that would be better. I'm not even sure that many guys want that job because of what I'm telling you right now, which is you're now going to a 9-game SEC football schedule, and you're going to be competing against all of the best schools, the most obsessive college football schools in the country. I just think Kentucky is in a really, really bad spot there. Okay. Saw this story earlier, and I have been sharing some of the responses on Clay and Buck. Gallup has a poll up. Just 28% of Americans have trust in the media now, and that has cratered. It used to be over 70% around 1980. You can see this graphic. It has collapsed, and I asked, who do you guys have trust in? And again, when I analyze this, I don't mean trust in the context of, hey, I agree with this person, right? That's not trust. That's just you agree with opinions. Like, you could agree with my opinions, but the argument I made for a long time is when I say trust, I mean not going to lie to you. I mean consistent. I mean we'll share details that might at times make you uncomfortable otherwise. To me, that is how you analyze what is trustworthy, who is trustworthy. And I think what has happened is legacy media institutions, by and large, are no longer trusted. New York Times, Washington Post, ABC, NBC, CBS. We've moved into an era where individuals are trusted, but big companies are not. And so some of you may trust me, but you may not trust, I don't know, any of the larger media organizations that I've worked for. And I understand that. And it's actually a further continuation of what I diagnosed when I started OutKick back in 2011, which is the name on the back of the jersey matters more than the name on the front of the jersey. It used to be that in order to matter, you had to be employed by CBS or Fox or NBC or ESPN or whomever you want to point to out there. Now, increasingly, I don't know that that's a benefit at all. And I think what ultimately matters is your own personal relationship with your fans or with your audience. And I think there are a lot of people that come to mind that I would trust, even if I don't always agree with them. Ben Shapiro. I trust Ben Shapiro to have his facts right on issues. I trust Megyn Kelly. I trust Piers Morgan. And you know what's interesting about this? A lot of the trust is now rooted in coming from the internet, more so than it's rooted from coming from television networks. And I think that is because there is an authenticity buy-in that occurs on the internet that doesn't occur elsewhere. Because you have a relationship, and you either trust or don't trust people more than you trust or don't trust organizations. I don't know how you get this back. I really don't. Even Democrats who used to like the media, and they like the media only because the media told them what they wanted to hear, even their trust in legacy media is collapsing. COVID, I think, will linger for generations, and I think it's going to be very, very difficult to ever go back to an era where the Walter Cronkites of the world, people trusted them on television to be honest with them. I don't think that's out there. Brett Baer, I think, is probably the most trusted traditional newscaster in America. I like Brett. I think that's accurate, that you should trust him. I think he's trying to do his best version. Personally, I know a lot of the Fox News people, so I trust I could name a lot of them. Dana Perino, Bill Hemmer, Harris Faulkner. Those are the daytime hosts that I go on with most frequently. The Fox and Friends in the morning crew, I know well. I trust those guys. The opinion programming, I get it. It's less of a direct trust, but obviously I know and like Sean Hannity, Jesse Waters. I'll be on with Jesse Waters tonight off the top of his program. All of these guys I trust because I know how hard they work. But that's a little bit of behind-the-scenes elements. I asked, and you guys gave a lot of great talkbacks. And frankly, it is an incredible gratitude and privilege that so many of you trust me to come talk to you every day for about 4 hours. I'm doing 4 hours of live programming if you count Clay and Buck, if you count this program, and if you count the amount of time I spend on Fox News, to say nothing of the amount of time I spend still writing and giving out picks. Speaking of picks, I trust PrizePicks. Do we have the scoreboard? I haven't even seen this. Can you text it to me as well? Evidently, and you know I'm not the kind of guy to brag, not the kind of guy to draw attention to himself. It's just not what I do. Evidently, I am smoking everybody else. Can you text this graphic to me too so I can see it? It's too small for me to see. I see that I'm at the top, which I should be. But there is a PrizePicks leaderboard. Can you text me these numbers so that I can see what they actually say? That's too small a way for me to be able to see it. But I see that I am at the top of the board. And I will brag on myself, as I humbly love to do, in a moment. But first, I'm going to give you a pick. I should be at the top because I would imagine it's very hard for anyone to do better than to win 3 out of the first 4 weeks, as I have. In fact, if Derrick Henry didn't let us down, I would have won 4 out of 4 weeks. Here is the graphic, by the way. If you took everything that I told you, you would be up $750. Is this based on a $100 wager? I'm not sure what the initial dollar wager is that it's based on, that you would be up substantially. Yeah, $100 per. You would be up over $1,000 if you had taken all of my wagers so far. And that's pretty good. It's a pretty good start. The Hot Mic guys are a disaster. You should not listen to them because they have a 0. Is that right? They have a 0% win rate so far. I think my win rate is way higher than 43%. By the way, the graphic is wrong. I've won 3 out of 4. Oh, is this not? This is all the picks that we've done this year, maybe? Because I've hit 3 out of 4 for an actual 75% win rate on the NFL since I've been giving out picks. I don't know who the other picks are. Anyway, so I think my numbers are actually better than they are here. But I have a winner that will hopefully get us to 4 out of 5 winners here. All right? Cam Ward, go to prizepicks.com. Use code OutKick. When you play $5, you get $50 automatically deposited. You can do it from the app. You can do it from prizepicks.com. You can get hooked up right now with a great, fun app that you're going to love. You can play it in California. You can play it in Texas. You can play it in Georgia. If you're feeling left out, 40-plus states. I believe over 13 million people have now signed up. Company is on fire, sold for several billion dollars. A majority stake in the company just sold. So I love what my friend Adam, I was with him last weekend in Athens, has done. He's a University of Georgia grad, built a great multi-billion-dollar business. And I'm going to take some of his money by giving you a 4th winner in 5 weeks. Cam Ward, less than 179.5 passing yards. Titans are a disaster. I cannot have any faith in them at all. They can't protect Cam Ward. They're not going to throw the ball much. They're going to try to run it. Cam Ward, less than 179.5 passing yards against Arizona. Then this is easy. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, C.J. Stroud, all 3 of those quarterbacks, more than 1/2 passing touchdown. So Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, C.J. Stroud, all more than 1/2 touchdowns. Cam Ward, less than 179.5 passing yards. If I am right on this PrizePicks pick, that will pay out at 2.8 to 1. That is $10 turns into $28. $100 turns into $280. Get hooked up now. PrizePicks.com. code OutKick, $5 turns into $50. Do it, and you will be on your way to having more fun, hopefully, with the NFL than you would without playing. North Korea. There are many things you could say about me, some of them negative, but no one out there supports the First Amendment and boobs more than yours truly. I am the lead proponent of the First Amendment and boobs. I saw this story from the New York Post. I thought to myself, maybe Kim Jong-un is my arch enemy, because Kim Jong-un, in addition to not supporting the First Amendment, has now decided that boobs, that is, cosmetic procedures to make boobs better, should not be allowed in the country of North Korea. Now, one of you in the comments said, do you really want to get a North Korean boob job? I understand maybe voluntary surgery in North Korea of a cosmetic nature is not the way that you want to go. But Kim Jong-un has now come out against boobs and against the First Amendment. And as a result, he is my mortal and sworn enemy, because I cannot think of anybody who has more aggressively come out against the First Amendment and boobs ever than North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Dan Wetzel. I think he would agree on the First Amendment and boobs. I've known Dan for a long time. He's now employed at ESPN. I haven't paid a lot of attention to this because, frankly, once football season starts, the idea that the WNBA is still going on is, you might as well tell me, hey, what do you think about girls' high school basketball in any community in America? My answer is I don't care. My answer is the same about the WNBA. I don't have a daughter. I don't have a daughter playing basketball. I don't really care about the WNBA at all. I don't know why. They have decided to go head-to-head in their playoffs. I guess it's underway right now. But what I will tell you is the decision to try to turn Caitlin Clark into a villain in any way is one of the most baffling things I've ever seen in the history of sports. And Dan's got a good piece up about there's controversy with the WNBA commissioner. The WNBA said, hey, Caitlin Clark owes a lot of her money to us. Excuse me. No, she doesn't. Caitlin Clark had way more people watching her play basketball when she was at the University of Iowa than are watching her play at the WNBA. In fact, if Caitlin Clark could have stayed at the University of Iowa, it probably would have been the best thing for her career. And the audience that does exist for the WNBA is largely because those women's basketball fans from Iowa followed her and are now fans of hers in the WNBA. I just look at this. The WNBA has been begging for their version of Michael Jordan for 25 years. They finally got her, and it appears to me they are obsessed with trying to delegitimize her. I don't understand. It's like when the PGA got Tiger Woods, a rising tide lifts all boats, yet every direction I turn, the WNBA has just lit itself on fire. And it's one of the worst management, one of the worst decisions that I have ever seen. Frankly, I can barely get my arms wrapped around how moronic this response has been. But there you have it. Do we have some hate mail? Is this new, or is this the hate mail that I have shared? Can you text me the hate mail so that I have it in front of me as well? I believe these are people that I have. Well, I need to have it texted to me. I'll respond. We used to do back in the day a hate mail segment on 3HL. And people would send me hate mail, the likes of which you have never seen, and I'll occasionally share it on social media. I think people enjoy hate mail more than they do positive mail. So I never really share anything positive that anybody sends to me. I appreciate it. The positive that I get now is probably 90-1 the negative. I mean, it is hugely the minority for the negativity, but I think the negativity is oftentimes more entertaining. David Keene wrote, what happened? A few years back, you were trudging along in the right direction, then started sucking Trump's dick. Ooh, grow up, man. You tried to taint the felon's jury. Wow, how American. How many black friends do you have? 0. LMAO, what a geek. racism at its finest, poor kids. Just a wide range of opinions that are dropped in here. Yeah, I'm a Trump voter. I think Trump has been infinitely better than Joe Biden as president of the United States. Most Americans, I think, would agree with me. If you disagree, more power to you. That's your right. And yes, I would have voted not guilty because I think the 34 felony charges brought in New York City were illegitimate. And in fact, a juror should have stood up and said, I'm not going to convict on this. How many black friends do you have? 0. First of all, it's weird to run around and be like, let me count the number of friends that I have of different races. But I'm a public school kid from Nashville. How many kids do you think were minorities that went to my school? A ton, all right? So I have lots of friends of all different backgrounds. As I've said before, I even have friends with non-functional penises who voted for Kamala Harris. So there you go. I think we have a couple more because I was having some fun with it today during Clay and Buck. Hogfather, you are 2 years younger than me and look like you could be my dad. And then I responded to the guy, Hogfather, I don't look like your daddy. I am your daddy. You spend all day on here tweeting at me. It also appears you're a Kamala voting Arkansas Razorback fan. I can't even imagine how much that ages a man. Good luck, bud. Yeah. Can you imagine being an Arkansas Razorback fan who was crushed that Kamala lost? You poor bastard. This guy wrote, your comments on Jesse Kelly hit me the wrong way. You disrespected millions of bald men. Apologies are in order. There are other choices to listen to than you. Let me tell you just a little secret. My whole life in media, from the day that I did my very first radio show, people have emailed or messaged me and said, I'm never going to listen to your radio show again because you said X or you did Y. And yet every single day, from the moment I first sat down in front of a mic to the moment that I am speaking to you right now, my audience has only grown. And so for anybody out there, if you worry about trying to make people who don't like you, then the people who do like you won't like you anymore. And maybe I'm a little bit unique because I just genuinely don't care. But I had this perspective even when I had no money. It's a really weird thing to do. To email strangers and tell them you're so upset by what they did that you're no longer going to consume their content. First of all, you're lying. Second, you're a grown man or a grown woman. This actually makes you look pathetic. If you don't like somebody's opinion, so what? Deal with it. You can share your own opinion that is the opposite of what someone else did, but hey, I'm no longer going to consume your content because you said something I don't like is just a long list of loserdom. Cowboy Drew, you can't stop talking about yourself and that stupid cell phone charger in Memphis. How the hell are you still on this show? The show is named after me. It would be hard to have a Clay Travis show and a Buck Sexton show without either Clay Travis or Buck Sexton. So first part of the answer is it's hard to have a show named after someone and not have someone on the show. Second, they would sign me to a lifetime contract if they could because I'm good at radio, because people respond to the things that I say like you do as if your penis doesn't work because you're upset about something that happened from one segment to the next. What ultimately cost radio hosts or TV hosts or writers, whoever it is, and a lot of people don't realize this, is not people who are angry at them. It's people who don't care about them. I don't care about the Tennessee Titans because they have broken my spirit and my will. That's actually a threat to the Tennessee Titans. I don't care about watching the Tennessee Titans now, even though I'm a season ticket holder. Indifference is what ultimately costs people in media their job. The worst thing you could say about me is, I don't care what he says at all. And therefore, I will never pay attention to his content at all and react to it in any way. Love gets me paid. Hate gets me paid. Indifference gets me fired. So the idea, I'm just being honest with you, and this is true for anybody in media, the idea that you would respond by telling me how much you hate something that I did just puts more money in my pocket. The way to win is to be indifferent to someone to such extent that you are not paying attention to them at all. Paying attention to me and reacting either positively or negatively to anything that I say is only going to make me bigger and more successful than I already am. So thank you for helping me to continue to get more successful. Buck will have the show on Monday. He is in Taiwan right now. I think we have a picture of Buck sitting down with the president of Taiwan. That's pretty cool. So he will be sharing that interview on Monday on the program while I am chilling at my new beach house, which people who hate me help build. So thank you. The view is going to be impeccable. Looks right out over the sandy white shore of 30A in the most expensive community, probably on the beach, certainly anywhere in a driving distance from an SEC campus. And I couldn't have done it without your hate. So it is the house that hate helped build, and it is a spectacular house that will withstand even a Category 5 hurricane. And it's probably a $20 million house. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. Let's see, one more thing. Fox News, number one. I thought this was pretty extraordinary. Fox News through September, data just came out. More viewers in primetime during the week than ABC, NBC, or CBS. That's pretty incredible. Fox News, a cable channel, has got more viewers than ABC, NBC, and CBS that are for free and are trying to put on television programming in primetime to have huge audiences. Fox News is beating them all. And you can watch me help beat them all tonight on Jesse Waters. In the meantime, hopefully we can win 4 out of 5 weeks on PrizePicks. I would encourage the PrizePicks scoreboard operators to look at this and say we should only be doing a football comparison here and see how we're all doing there. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to make a fabulous living doing exactly what I love to do the most. DBAP, unless you need to SBAP. I'm Clay Travis, and this has been OutKick the show. I'm headed to the beach, to my new beach house that you guys who hate me helped build. Kisses from me to you. I'll be thinking about you on my rooftop pool as I look down at my ground floor pool and stare out over the amazing vista of the Gulf of America. I couldn't have done it without you. See you Thursday.